get scared of heights, so our producers laced me with this thing to keep my mind off it. Oh my God. This might be the last episode. So, I'm not even gonna use the. I'm gonna. Yeah, all right, cool. I'm gonna use. Just go. I don't want to say shit. We're in Hunan. We're doing the show. Wang's World. Hunan. Fried rice. Fried. Wide noodles. Handful. Oh no. Handful noodles. Good shit. You want to do some dance moves on the Brave Man's Ridge? Yeah. It feels ready for kebabs, B. You put the kebabs on the grill? You put the kebabs on the grill? Ooh, it's hot. Ooh, it's hot. Woo-hoo. She want the kebabs? She want the kebabs? Woo! Bass fobs.
Welcome to Huang's World.
Y'all in the wrong world. I care, man. Welcome to Huang's World. World traveler, the food, good and delicious. Shanghai, Moscow, check out the pictures. LA, New York, MIA, London, the schedule vicious. Welcome to Huang's World.
My parents are back for this episode in Shandong. We had to bring my mom out, #1 Shandong representative, right, Mom?
Yes, my family is from Shandong.
Yes. And what's Shandong known for, Mom?
Mantou.
That's right. They're like the bagel makers of northern China. They make the big white buns, and they made mantou by the train station, right, Mom?
Yes, growing up, my family moved from China to Taiwan. I wasn't born at the time, and that's how my father made a living for feeding this whole big family.
Are you excited to be here in Shandong?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I'm come home with my wife, but it's freaking cold here.
I had a very good lymphatic massage yesterday, and I haven't exercised for a long time, but now I'm ready for mantou time.
你好，小梅，欢迎。你们可以进去看一看这个馒头真正这个。
Whoa, smells so good. This whole room smells like wood fire sauna bread. This has it gives back. It bounces back. That's what you want. I'm going to break this open. Look at that.
Ooh, look at that steam.
It's like the difference between a real butt and a fake butt. Like a fake butt is hard and it doesn't move. This is a real butt.
这个馒头呢，刚出锅的当然是最好吃啊。
I've never had a mantou this good.
这里面还有一个我们自己悟出来一个道理呢，就是这个馒头好吃与这个做馒头的人非常有关系。怎么说呢？
是有很大的穴道 pressure point。这个气，你身体的 energy 气会 go into the dough. That's very scientific. It's not a myth.
It's really interesting for me to come to Shandong and connect with this. Yeah. I just think that we're a people with a very incredible culture and history, but that the last few generations, we disconnected from it, and that it's our job to reconnect with it now. And that's why I came to Shandong, and that's why we're going to Hunan.
It's a great start. I think you will do a good job reconnecting the people, the culture, and everything.
I really think that it's time for more Chinese people born all around the world to connect with the history and culture, because otherwise it'll go away.
Yes. We will try.
What's up, bass fobs? We are cheerful, the hometown of the god Confucius. This man is single-handedly responsible for the way we treat friends, family, and ourselves. Hey, 你好，段先生。
你好，
欢迎你，
非常欢迎你，非常欢迎你啊！
所以你是一个学校的一个 principal。
对，曲阜国学院。 对，我们呢是以孔子的经典为主。这呢就是大成殿，供奉了孔子的塑像，是传说呢是孔子讲学的地方。时候呢，对孔庙有一次非常大的破坏，很严重，很多石碑被砸坏。
你可以看得到，可以掉了一块。
当时呢，欧洲呢，就因为工业革命发展就很快，中国呢成了一个落后的一个这个典型了。当时人呢，他就认为呢，落后啊，贫困啊，是因为中国文化造成的。
对，
到文革呢，发展到一个极限，这一定要把孔子文化把它打倒。
因为最容易 control 人的方法就是 strip them of 他们的 language 还有 culture 还有 knowledge。
很可惜啊，对。所以孔子文化呢，它首先呢从家庭做起，特别是对一个青年人，一定是在家里，有一个良好的行为规范。然后呢，你走向社会的时候，你自然会懂得。
我真的很佩服这个 idea order and balance restraint self control 这些东西空腹子教的。可是有的时候我也想 go crazy. 我想 go to the club and drink Molly water. I like order and balance, but I think every once in a while you have to turn up.
这个需要这个翻译一下。对。
你好，
你好，
我是小梅。
我是严美兴。
好，谢谢你欢迎我们来。所以你们的特色就是传统的鲁菜。
传统鲁菜。
好吧，好，谢谢。Lu cuisine refers to the cuisine of the northern Chinese region, and the two main concepts are restraint and order and balance. Now, these ideals come from Confucius, and when it's manifested in the dishes, you get a cuisine that's very light, delicate, heavy on the seafood, and infused with bone stocks throughout every dish. You get a very clear, sharp, utilitarian flavor. And one of the best examples of this cuisine is Eight Immortal Soup, which is symbolic of Chinese mythology, eaten for texture with a lot of nutritional value.
这一道菜啊，就等于做10个菜。
对。The chicken ball technique is fire. It really looks like a stripper hand job technique. I've seen this technique in Jamaica, Queens. They say in Sandong, they judge an opera singer by their voice and a chef by their soup. This dude's super old school. He wants me to learn everything, so we're watching every single part of this dish. But I guess if it's food for immortals, time is not of the essence. Even before we came in, too, that stock probably took him a good 3 hours to make that stock on top of the time we've spent spooning chicken into spoons, steaming tins, chicken in spoons, putting dried crab roe on chicken in spoons that were being steaming tinned. 所以花了这么多时间，要是你可以选择用这个时间去做你喜欢的东西，你想你会做什么的？
因为这个菜啊，它是有文化的，你对这个烹饪一种爱好说你就不烦。
I think I have offended him. I got the sea cucumber in here, the abalone, the chicken breast. This is one of the clearest, cleanest, but deepest flavored soup I've ever had. You taste all the pork, all the chicken, and it forms this little baseline that all the seafood just jumps off of. It's a virtuous dish. Order, balance, cleanliness, clarity. Everything we learned about Confucius is in the Eight Immortal Soup. This dish was so hard to make, it just reminded me how hard it is to be a Chinaman. It's a real hard life. They said this is the spot to buy bootleg. Whoa, what is this? I need this. Oh, this is so awesome. Oh, we're in. hoodie.
你尽情的发挥吧。
Fat man. 这是真的吗？这是老鼠毛吗？
这个是毛鼠毛嘞。
哦，这是老鼠毛。哎，你说我们在湖南好，你在看 Huang's World， 姓黄的 Huang's World，
不音不标现在。我的 Word 防 Word 是吧？我们在长沙，你们在看 Wonderful。
So it's a cold, polluted day here in Shifu. Show them the smokestack CV. Yeah, perfect setting for some kung fu. So I think the homies are eating lunch right now, but as soon as they're done and nourished, then they're gonna teach me some kung fu. How's it going?
Good. Join us.
How'd you guys all end up in Shifu at a kung fu school?
Honestly, it was a hangover idea while eating pancakes. It was suggested, why don't we go join the monks and do some kung fu? And here we are.
This is basically what my mom used to make at home, like tomato and eggs. This
We
is
have a
super
bit of
simple.
variety.
Yep.
But every day, you get rice.
Yeah.
So that's your base.
Yep.
Then we get 3 or maybe 4 dishes. Eggs, we get some sort of vegetable, and 2 dishes with chicken. They're pretty tasty, and they give us the energy and the protein that we need to keep training.
You guys like it out here in Shifu?
Yes and no. It's so weird being away for so long, and then it's like obviously the little things that you miss from being back home that you don't have out here, like cheese. You don't really get any Western food out here at all.
We're not even in Tufu. We're 1 hour away from Tufu.
It's like we're isolated, so then we've like pretty much only got one thing to focus on, which makes training and things like that a lot easier. You don't have any other distractions.
So what's Kung Fu done for you, like, in terms of, like, your mindset?
Pain. You deal with pain so much better than you ever could before. Like, you realise that you were soft before you got here, and then suddenly, you know, you're getting kicked, or, like, masters stretch your leg up past your ear and stuff like that, and that's pain.
There's, like, an inner strength because you've already gone through, like, some deep-ass pain.
You push yourself. You definitely push yourself, and in many ways, not just the physical, also in a mental, emotional way. Obviously, we're away from our families, our loved ones. We are having a culture shock. Different food, different people.
I like Kung Fu because it really feels like a microcosm of life. In that, like, life, it's not a competition against the world or other people. You're fighting yourself every day.
There's no way you're going to have all good days here, and so you can get through these bad days because there's a positive thing coming out of it. Down or depressing all the time, like, good things are coming.
Let's go check it out.
Let's do this.
All right, man.
Yeah. 好，今天呢新到了一个学生，今天咱一块换一下啊。把这个脖子。从这里稍微往后。对对对。好，换吧，弓步压腿。这里。
Ooh, man, I'm not flexible.要是我问你说功夫教了你最有意思的东西是什么？
首先呢，就是我感觉就是 这个练武术很有意思。但后来去了以后，你肯定要吃苦，吃很多苦。后来在学习的过程当中，就是很不愿意学，就是慢慢的就是坚持下来了。首先我学到的，我感觉是那种毅力，就是不会就是遇到事情不会轻易放弃。对，这个是我这个一生当中学的最重要的东西。好，放松。
Kung Fu's always something I've seen as Chinese. But whether it's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or these kids from England putting in work, culture crosses racial boundaries because race is just a social construct. I didn't see any Chinese students at the school, but it was reassuring to find foreigners sustaining a culture in its natural habitat here in China. 像要是你可以给我们看像你做的东西，可是很不容易做的 He's going to show us a few moves. Whoa. Whoa. 我可以 try 吗？
你试一下。
好。Was that hot fire? Yo, so me and Nick are on the road. It's about like 5 days before Christmas.
Yep.
You definitely got a shorty. And what better place to shop for the ones you really care about than Samsung?
Dude, no. Kara loves Channel.
Channel.
Oh my
Great
God.
bags.
I'm freaked out.
Does she also like scarves and stuff like that?
She loves cashmere in particular.
Cashmere?
Yeah.
Well, I would recommend Hermes Beijing.
Oh, wow.
So
Should we go in?
fire. Yeah, let's check it out. Hey, you guys got socks in here? Yo, so we're in Qingdao, northeast China, right near Beijing and Hebei, where they've announced all the red alert pollution days. You can't breathe. The air is literally heavy on your body, your face, and your lungs. We're about to eat at a 100-year-old restaurant here that's known for squid juice dumplings before we meet up some locals and drink beer, because Confucius once said, man cannot drink beer on empty stomach. Hey,
你好，欢迎光临百年老店春和楼。
先生，我是小明。
现在是124周年的历史，名吃中华名吃中饺，现在有10几个品种。来，好了吧？戴好帽子，戴好帽子。啊？哪怕从那边拿起，你转这来干嘛？好，行。
这个是烫面，我把面烫好了以后，绿色面炭，绿色面炭然后呢，再下上剂子。
You gotta break it down.
你把那边那个春和楼那个馅儿先背过来，那个盘子底下是不是带春和楼？盘子上不带个春和楼吗？那个夹上有没有
？Metro Boom. It's ground pork, squid juice, and shrimp.
哪有？
卡里奥。
别管了。
对，你可以把那个，因为要是这个电话这样子，我们不能用。The key to rolling a good dumpling, you have to make the shrimp shape along the side.
把这也撕，这个撕，不要留片。
Oh, got it. 卡里奥。Gonna eat some of this food we made. These are local Qingdao dudes. They own like pubs and restaurants in the city. 这是小明。
哇哦，
这个是青岛的野生大海螺，这个其实就是鲁菜的一个摆盘文化了。它这样的话会让你感觉到这个东西是非常非常的有文化的。
哎呀，很香哦。 Yo, this is one of my favorite dishes. 糖醋鱼. Oh. Nice. Wow. I've had this dish a lot of places. This is the crispiest one I've ever had. So dry, so crispy.
哦，
看他放，看他放，
自己做的，我算懂你那么久，包的还可以啊。
Yo, this one I made isn't bad.
还不错。
哦，
嗨，John，嘿嘿，Yeah，我给你带来一个新朋友，来自美国来李黄。
你好，你好。
对，我说
我是小明，你会讲英文啊？会。Okay. Where are you from?
Reno, Nevada.
Nice, nice. What brought you out here to Qingdao?
My wife's from Qingdao. I started up the brewery here 5 years ago. Qingdao does have the beer culture. It's just not what you think of as craft beer culture, like what we might think of in the States.
Yeah.
Here, try this.
Oh, thanks. Nice.
This is the Yabasu Stout.
It is really good.
Yeah, it's got a chocolatey
light,
thing.
refreshing stout.
Yeah.
Should we sit down and have some beers with these guys?
Let's go to the bar. And
all right, cool, man. Let's do it. What was the biggest adjustment for you coming from America to China?
One cool thing about China is, like, it's not that serious, and we're not trying to be this polite or whatever. And taking off your shirt and drinking beer in the summertime is totally acceptable. I'd go back to the States and I'd be like, this is boring.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing going on. Like, I want to go back to Asia, like, where everything is happening and it's crazy.
It's savage. It's super savage.
It's like taking acid for the first time. You're like, I don't know where this is going, actually. Like, that was maybe a bad idea.
Yeah.
Like, here I am.
China
and
feels like an acid trip.
Yeah.
It definitely does. Yeah. Do you feel the same way he feels about, like the way he feels about China? Is that how you feel about 美国？你对美国的印象是什么？
我对美国的印象是一个很开放、很自由的，因为它是有各个民族的人去移民过去嘛。我接受你各种各样的文化，这点我非常喜欢。
Why I think it's interesting to talk to you guys, because you guys look at America and the West as this place with all the diversity, but when I come to China, it's crazy. Like, China opens my eyes, but I think it's just because you grew up here and I grew up there. Right. So grass is always greener. 中国文化5000年的文化，真的有很多东西可以学习的。
是一个信息大爆炸的时代，大家以前中国人是很封闭的，现在有了手机，有了互联网，我们的年轻人慢慢的接触到了很多很多新的东西。
对。
那我的内心就有欲望。那在这个体制下，我们想把这个欲望释放出来。
这是像 China's puberty. 他们 teenage years need to be reckless. You got to stand in the back of a pickup truck and do a keg stand and go crazy.
It's necessary.
Yeah. Cheers. Years in America, this is the greatest shit I have learned. It's all foam. All right, Holiday, you gotta do this. Okay. Damn, this dude got ass cap. Holiday.
It's not all right. Oh, maybe.
Wait, I'm not finished. Like, you're not finished. He's speaking English. I'm not finished. He's like, I'm finished. Yo, I think I'm the only Chinese person here that doesn't like drones. TV, they love the drone. Iceland, breaking news. The DP of life, Christopher Valona, has just crashed a drone into ancient Chinese history. All right? God. We have security on hand. This guy's so tight at you right now. Tight. I mean, Mao destroyed a lot of stuff in China, and he never crashed a drone into a building. So we're going to make the trek now from Shandong, my mother's home province, known for Wu cuisine and all the delicate foods that you've seen, to Hunan, which is my father's family's home province, known for spicy food, hot tempers, and generals. Because there's no province in China that's produced more generals than Hunan. Some of the famous ones you might know, like General Tao, Mao Zedong, who's responsible for the Cultural Revolution, and the seminal dish in Hunan cuisine, and also my life, Mao's favorite dish, is red cooked pork. And without this dish, there probably isn't Bauhaus, there probably isn't Fresh Off the Boat, and there definitely isn't Wang's pork. Here we are at the Fire God Temple. And there were times when this place was full of street performers and street vendors. But during the Cultural Revolution, Mao destroyed it, and nothing was left. But in 2000, people started to rebuild this, and it's a phenomenon in the last, I'd say, 15, 20 years in China. People are trying to reconnect with their past, reconnect with the culture, because everything that the fiery temper gave Mao and gave China, it kind of also took away. We're inside Huang right now, and this is Crystal. She's going to join us for lunch today. Very excited and interested in conveying the ideas of China around the world.
That's what I have been writing about.
You want to introduce the world to China?
No, introduce China to the world.
Oh, okay. I like this.
Really?
Usually you only see the carts at like Cantonese food dim sum, but this is pretty cool. They put all the Hunan food in like the dim sum carts. So they brought us a bunch of the Hunan specialties here, like the Tongyou Babao, all right? This is made with rice, ground into flour, and then they fry it with scallions. So it's the flavor of a scallion pancake, the texture of fried rice. Really dope. Glutinous rice ball here. My grandma on my dad's side loved this. Tangyuan, right? And a good one, you could chew it, and it's chewy, but it doesn't stick to your teeth. The pig's blood soup is fire. It's very clean, with some good essence, really nice. The thing to really understand about Hunan cuisine, Shanghai is spicy, right? Spicy food.
I feel like some dishes here is, a little bit too spicy for me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. There is an idiom here says that Hubei people don't afraid of spicy food, but the Hunan people is afraid of there is no spicy in their food.
I know you write about politics, and one thing that's interesting to me is when you read the history where Mao was telling people, hey, do away with everything old culture, old customs, old ideas, old habits, right? And then this place got destroyed, but then now Mao's outside of it. So, how do you reconcile the ideals that he had, the actions he had, with the result now?
I feel like people, maybe in my age, they believe they separate their knowledge about Mao into two parts. And they believe that the Mao that they respect for is that one day, lead us to build this country. And so they believe that if we can rebuild this place so that we can rebuild their images in our hearts. And even, maybe the Mao statue here, because it attracts tourists and they respect them, they will take pictures of it and,
Yeah, because there's an economic benefit to selling Chinese identity now.
Maybe that's what Mao didn't expect himself, too.
It's very funny. Through the years, through the generations, history is repeated, repurposed, adapted and used for the purpose of whoever is in control.
Yeah. History is a girl that, be decorated by everyone is in the power.
So, being in China for like 13 days, you see a lot of hot trash architecture, real brutal stuff back there, but you are really mistaken if you think China doesn't have beautiful architecture that competes with the rest of the world. Welcome to Windows of the World. Yo, that T-Rex butthole was fire. Yo, there's two weddings simultaneous shooting in the balance here. I touched the Statue of Liberty. This is what we're about to do to all the other food shows this year. Oh, yeah! Human panda. We've chosen this place to check out China's finest architecture with our friend Douglas Song because he's a civil engineer. You hit us up on Instagram, on the Riceland TV account. You could end up on a show like Doug. What's up, man? How's it going? Good. Yourself? Good. Any day you can wake up and stand in front of the pyramids, it's a good day.
Yeah, Changsha, Hunan got everything around the world, but at a different scale.
Did you come here when you were growing up?
Yeah, when I was like a child, my mom will always take me here every year, like at least once or twice.
I think this is very special in China because very few people even got to see these things on the internet or in books. So this might be their first exposure to the pyramids.
Yeah, we can't really go out, so we have everything here in our country, in our town,
Yeah. Well, you actually left China, went to Australia and studied. What's the perspective change that you have from leaving China?
I think the most important thing is that I started to think really critically. I feel that in China is sort of thing, the education, there is exactly the same answer. The teacher says something, that is something.
Yeah, so in China, what you're saying is that if a teacher tells you something, that's the answer.
Yeah, that's the answer.
You don't question it.
You have a standard answer. 标准答案.
Oh, 对.
标准答案.
懂.
Now, Western education said they ask you to think a lot, like maybe you're wrong, maybe you're right, but...
Yeah, no, I think it's really important for people in any country or city to know there isn't one right answer.
Yeah.
I really hope that as China starts to open up, people start to see the real thing.
I found out children now in China are getting better than the last generation, so I feel it's improving, and I think it's the same thing with the pyramid. What we should do is like think what's the real thing, and then have the desire to actually go out and to see the outside of the world, to explode,
Do you mind if we stop and ask them questions real quick? 你们来过这里吗？你看的时候，你会说你想去非洲看，真的吗？还是你已经看到刚好了？够。
有点这个新的奇迹的感觉，精益求精，这个工做得很好。
It's very good. Cool, shit. Thank you. That was great. That was great.
Amazing period.
At this point in the trip, you just start to crave American hot trash. So we're going to have the producer, Nick, join us here because we ordered a bunch of food and he also misses eating American food. And to be honest, this restaurant really feels like Chinese people picking what they like about America, reinterpreting it, and curating it in this, like, Hunan diner.
Yeah, it's crazy to see what they picked out,
That is super weird, but really good. The bread's actually nice. It's soft and crusty, almost like a Chinese pineapple bun. You have the power. You just taste this, right? It's crazy. It's super peppery. It tastes like the Hunan pepper spices. It's so spicy and it's sweet.
I've never understood why Hispanic people
or Asian people get so pissed off about like an obviously non-authentic restaurant that now I could finally kind of understand it. It should say the Hunan hoagie, maybe not cheesesteak.
Yeah. And I actually really like a lot of the weird hybrid fusion American versions of ethnic food in America. But the difference is white people have the power and they have this need to tell people, I made it better. I just took your brown people's shit and I made it better.
I say that all the time, you know?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah? It's so good to eat American food. I bash it a lot, but dude, I love this shit.
你怎么interested 做这么多美国食物？
也不能算小时候，就是当我们上高中、上大学，就是我们接触互联网，那我们可以有很多的机会看到很多国外的电影，跟一些我们所平时可能小时候不太能够看得到的一些东西。那我们就是比如说像破产姐妹里面的奶昔啊，或者就是说像那个低俗小说里面的这些奶昔，就是我们会把一些文化，把跟美式文化相关的一些跟这个汉堡啊、跟奶昔这样相关的一些东西。我们餐厅的话，其实我们也算是长沙第一家，就是把这个精酿啤酒。
In China, this restaurant very popular.
在长沙不常见，可能在把一些在美国很常见的一些，但是在中国又不太多的一些东西放到我们的餐厅的餐桌上面。
It was good. We had the cheeseburger, the Hawaiian burger, the chili cheesesteak. Yeah, we're pretty full. I'm stuffed. I'm ready to eat Chinese food tomorrow.
Thanks, man. It's cool to see what Chinese people curate and take from American culture.
对。
For a long time, we've done shows, and I never wanted to show this dish because it's kind of our like Hunan Wenhua culture, right, and know-how. But the more and more I travel, I've seen a lot of hybrid versions, a lot of mistakes, a lot of fusion and people not understanding it, that I wanted to come back to the source and show you how it's done. Because if you goons are going to be making red cooked pork at home, you better do it the right way and represent. All right, so here comes the oil. Hunan red cooked pork now, you're going to kind of cook it in oil. It's going to be sauteed in a way. It's a hybrid method. All right. So he has the chilies, some other garlic, scallions in this casserole. 对。It's going to cook for an hour or so, and then I'm going to taste my first Hong Sao roll in Hunan. So we've actually invited Wei, who's local Hunan cool girl, to come dine with us.
Cool girl.
And talk to us about like the food in the city and everything. 长沙是出生的吗？
对，是长沙出生，然后在长沙这边生活一直20多年，一直在这边生活。对。
So this is the star of the show, probably the most famous Hunan dish all time. It is probably the most seminal dish in my life, right? And it's a real moment to come back home and eat this dish. The skin here is so bouncy. It's a perfect skin. It's jumping out the gym. The layers, the fats all melted. And I think the signature of Hunan Hong Sao Rou versus Shandong, you taste the chili, you taste the garlic, and there's a more toothsome texture. 就是像 knife through butter. 很软。这是我们湖南人的红烧肉。
对，湖南的那个特色。Yes。
教我们美国小朋友很不容易的。
对。
可是食物是一个东西我们懂的。所以我的 understanding，even 我知道的中文话，大部分都是菜。
对，由菜来引起的。
对，所以。
对，我觉得你不管走到天涯海角也好，你的家就在中国，你就是有中国的根在这边。不光是一道菜，可能这是时间的味道，
对，
是有时间的味道。
You know, when I talk to my pops or my uncles and my aunts, like, we didn't leave China on our own accord. You know, there was a civil war, and a lot of our ancestors got killed, and they were forced to Taiwan, and my parents were born there because they were the last of the bunch, and then they left Taiwan as well because they didn't know the status, came to America, and I was born there, but as an overseas Chinese, like, you're cut off from your history. Some of us are cut off from our language. And some of us are cut off from our culture. And it's really powerful to come home. It's really powerful to come home and connect with something in a story that you've tried to keep the fire alive for 33 years in America.
这就是故乡的味道，不管你走到哪里，只要你吃到这个味道，你就会想起到你的故乡。对，一种家的味道。对。
天好笑，看到红烧肉都哭了。I think mine's better. We're here in Confucius' cemetery, and you'll see hundreds of tombstones all around because every single one of his descendants is buried here with him. And I didn't realize it till I came, but at the very core, the essence is family. Family is what gives you strength and teaches you to love. Whether you're Chinese, Jamaican, Mexican, when you come home and you see it face to face, you'll realize it was always there with you. I'm a child of the diaspora, and I dedicated my life to keeping my native culture and identity alive in America. But it wasn't until I went back to my native land and saw my culture face to face that I realized how much these origins affected me in the way I looked, the way I cooked, and the way I loved. Even though I wasn't physically here, in a way, my spirit never left the building. I was connected the entire time. And it was all just waiting for me to come home and write the next chapter of my history. Because there's something about our motherlands, native sons, and overseas fledgling communities that are all one and the same. It's all right. Asians don't know how to drink. These things happen.
真是恭喜发财。